This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we've got new release dates from Marvel as the entire MCU Phase 4 slate gets pushed back. Disney Plus hits a big subscription milestone, and you'll get our thoughts on the recently launched mobile-only streaming service, Quibi.
Wowie zowie!
Plus a listener-sponsored review of the wacky cult comedy Raising Arizona, and a whole bunch more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, April 9th, 2020.
Hey, this is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Remember, Batman's got your back.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We're jocking, we nerding. We funny, disturbing. We're jocking, we nerding. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We're jocking, we nerding. We funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. We're jocking, we nerding. We spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, what's up? Hello, listener, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we deliver comic book and superhero, TV, and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us over there is a puppet with a panty on his head. We call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
I'm gonna get out of jail one day soon, and I'll be a changed man.
Are you using that panty as a mask? You know, you're supposed to be wearing a mask outside.
It's breathable.
You guys, do I sound any different? I thought we were supposed to be wearing these masks all the time. Do I sound like Spider-Man?
You're in your mask now?
I'm wearing it right now.
Oh, shit. Are you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the edict from the authorities?
You should probably just keep it on
I
for the rest of your
probably
life.
should. Oh, wait, this is just for outside?
Yeah, but you're doing the country a disservice regardless by not wearing that
I
mask.
just shouldn't leave the house
People
at
start
all.
looking at that weird beard and going, why did he dye it like this?
You know what? I'm taking this off because it's fogging up my goddamn glasses.
I like that people are making masks out of bras.
Yes.
You just see that on the interwebs?
Yeah, that's very ingenious and a great way to reuse resources.
You should make them out of thongs.
I mean, I don't really smell. I don't go around smelling bras, but are bras smelly?
No, I don't
Getting
know.
sweat.
I'm assuming that it'd probably smell like sweat if it wasn't
Like
washed.
tit sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound
Is
pleasant.
that, so, you have to get a new bra to make a bra mask.
Okay,
That's all
bro.
I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Seriously, you guys, you're not wearing masks when you go out in stores. It's very important.
I don't go out.
Oh, that's a good point.
I haven't left my domicile in a very long time.
Also, the way my beard has turned white, at a quick glance, it looks like I'm already wearing a mask, which is a win for me.
A white mask?
Yes, unless I
Did
open my
everything
mouth.
turn white now, Imran?
Well, the majority of the front center is like a big white mass.
What about your pubes?
Oh, you don't want to know. That's quite... I mean,
He always avoids that question.
I told you when we
He
did
never really answers.
Listen, when we did the Manscaped ad, I told you it looks like Santa Claus had a beard trim when I'm done. So that should...
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
Shit.
Just wanted clarification.
Floppy jock.
Look, when the hair goes white with vitiligo, it goes white with the vitiligo. Look, for any historians listening to this in the future, maybe 5 years or a
The
year,
history of Imran's
the
pubes.
history of my pubes coincides with...
Can you imagine, like, historians in, like, 500 years from now
Yes.
are tracing through old files and they
Yes.
find this podcast. They're like, oh, I've always wanted to know what the 21st century was like. And they
then
put on
hear
our
this.
show to decipher what was going
Well,
on.
look, we got to tell them that we're still in the thick of the Rona, hitting the peak soon.
We still have albinos? We got rid of those a long time ago.
If the internet even exists, it's still shut down, Rona, future person. Hopefully, look, this is what I hope, is that when they do look back at this, they're going to be like, oh, remember when all that got crazy with the Rona and everything went back to normal? Instead of them going, oh, that was the beginning of the end that we're listening to right now. That's when everything changed forever. I hope it's the first one and not the second one. We'll see. Hang in there, everyone.
I hope so, too. I got a lot of life to live.
I can't wash my hands anymore. They're
We're
so
halfway
dry.
through it, at least.
Yeah, hopefully.
We're halfway through.
We'll get there, listener, together.
You know?
And we're here to keep you comfort, familiar voices. with some alleged humor. We will try.
Have you been immediately affected by this, Imran?
What do you mean?
Has anybody that you know gotten it?
Not yet. The closest was as an employee at the Mariano's grocery store down the street from my mom's house where I had it. Got it. That's it. No one that I know personally. Anybody else? Do you guys know anyone personally?
Yes.
Wow.
Shit. Oh, shit. All right, well.
Not personally like a friend.
Yeah.
But like person that I know their family's been affected.
Man, well, I hope they get better.
Yeah.
Wish him the best, and I hope everyone gets better. And we can move on with our life, just like we're going to move on to the geek news right now.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Yeah, for the future people, it's still this clip.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Like every day. That's still that clip is going on in my head every day as this thing goes on. Now, this week, the one big piece of news, Disney rescheduled a lot of their movies that they had pulled off the release schedules that were hanging in the air. Specifically, for our case, the entire MCU Phase 4 landscape gets pushed back.
Oh, shit.
Here's what the new dates are. Black Widow, that was supposed to open May 1st, is now going to open on the Eternals date, November 6th, 2020. So we'll have one, hopefully we can salvage one MCU movie for 2020, which will be Black Widow. Eternals has now been pushed to Shang-Chi's date, February 12th, 2021. Now you can see where this is going. Shang-Chi has now been pushed to Doctor Strange's date, which is May 7th, 2021. Doctor Strange 2, directed by Sam Raimi.
So that's official?
Yes, these are
Sam Raimi?
Yeah, I think the Sam Raimi is official.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure because they didn't have a director. But you know, I haven't. That's a good point. I haven't heard. I thought it was. I'm going to assume it is.
We have computers in front of us.
Well, you look it up. Well, I tell you, Doctor Strange 2 now is coming out November 5th, 2021. This was the date for Thor, Love and Thunder, which is now coming out February 18th, 2022. Black Panther stays on May 8th, 2022. And we have a new release date.
Geek Boner.
Captain Marvel 2 moved up to July 8th, 2020.
That got announced?
Yes. Apparently that had a date too. July 29th. I didn't know that either. It was July 29th. They moved that up to July 28th. So that gives us one MCU movie this year, 3 2021, and 3 in 2022. I don't know what's happening with the Spider-Man 3, which they couldn't start production or it had to halt. No word on that. And no word on the Disney Plus series is Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision. Nice crack.
That's beer.
Nice crack open at the beer rugs. Get lit. They haven't
You
said.
can edit that out later.
No, we're leaving that in. It adds color.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this Sam Raimi thing. It looks like all indications are he's directing, but I didn't see anything official.
Yeah, everyone is just saying it's a thing, but I don't think I saw official word. But they gave it a new date. The Disney Plus shows are supposed to air this year later, but they have not finished filming.
Yeah, that's not happening. Well, it might be later this year, but definitely not on schedule.
And if you have to push back Black Widow and the whole Phase 4, do those shows also proportionally now? Everything get pushed back. This is going to be the longest break we've had for between MCU movies since like 2010. Spider-Man Far From Home, which seems like such a long time ago, was the last MCU movie we got. And it's weird that they're usually throughout the year we've gotten used to Marvel movies ruling like every quarter, and it's suddenly very weird and quiet.
Yeah, everything's affected, including Marvel. Nothing is immune.
Even Big Bad Disney.
Even the House of Mouse.
So for what it's worth, speaking of Disney and ESPN, Disney, which owns ESPN, Dana White. Did you see this stuff that was coming out?
What does he want to do with the UFC?
So the UFC had an event for April 18th that was in Brooklyn, New York. Obviously, they can't do it there. And most of the country shut down. So there's been this big story because Dana White still wants to push for it. And he announced maybe 2 days ago, we're recording on Thursday, that they're still going to do it. They're going to do it on an Indian reservation in California.
Okay.
So they're going to do the fight. And then he also said he secured a private island.
That's what I saw. And
they're going to do international fights there. So basically, it'd be like Bloodsport.
Yes.
Like alligators surrounding the like all. You know,
oh my God!
that's what everyone was like.
Fight Island.
Yeah, Fight Island.
Yes.
He was calling it Fight Island.
Fight Island is amazing.
So he was going full steam ahead, and then today it came out that ESPN and Disney were like, "Hey, buddy, hold your horses. We're not doing this."
Oh no, yeah, it's a little ambitious.
I would love that.
How-
He's still saying he's going to honor that and be true to his partners, but he's like, I'm still building Fight Island.
damn
It's
it.
going to happen.
I wanted this to be something real, and that way they can make a movie about it in like 10 years, and it can be based on something true.
This is like a really
the Fight Island thing caught everyone's imagination.
Fight Island. It's better than the Firefest documentary, that's for sure. Fight Island is like
No one knows where Fight Island is anyway, by the way.
the first rule of Fight Island, you do not talk about Fight Island.
Oh, shit.
That's how it goes down. This is like a bad sci-fi movie, though. Like Fight Island, you could have several sequels.
He when they were interviewing, he was like, I got an island. I've secured an island, and I'm building the infrastructure to have international fights. And all these guys are like, sign me up. I want to go to
It
fight
sounds
at
like the
Fight
movie
Island.
DOA, if anybody's ever seen it. But
Oh, based off the video game?
Oh, Jesus Christ, that movie.
But if nobody is there, it should be clean and safe and just wipe everything down. And I don't know. That's amazing. That's hilarious.
I immediately thought of the Kumite from Bloodsport.
I think he also saw, Vince McMahon throw on WrestleMania to no people. And he's like, fuck that. I'm still putting my thing on if that motherfucker does it.
He's absolutely like me and Vince are the only ones that are not afraid of this virus. He's been like very bold in terms of. He said some stupid things though. He was like, "You can't run." He's like, "You can't be afraid of this virus." I'm not sitting around afraid of cancer. I was like, "Oh,
what?
no,
Yeah, you gotta
that's
be.
not good."
You gotta be. There's a
They
fine
can't
line.
catch cancer
Right,
from
right.
someone else. You
Yeah,
idiot.
that was tough. That was a tough quote.
I mean, I get his enthusiasm, but you gotta be careful and don't get anyone sick, you motherfucker. Great idea. Love the idea of Fight Island.
So, for what it's worth,
that's
I just had
crazy.
to throw that. We have a little jock talk. This is around the
I like
Disney
that. I like.
train.
We'll roll it all in. Back to the movies, though. I wanted to ask you guys: do you think these delays could make the better movies? Do you think this could cause better movies, or will this hurt them?
That's
push
too
everything
early
back?
to speculate now because nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Like the outcome that would be create better movies is if this thing is over fast, because then they can get the ball rolling, and then they have like a larger runway, and they're like, "Oh, let's take our time with this." You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
but right now there's nothing going on. They can't do shit.
No.
So it's not really helping them. And the longer it drags on, it's actually going to make worse movies because then the production schedule is going to be shrunken
Shortened.
down. Yeah.
This.
Well, the only benefit I could see is maybe like the writing staff.
Yes.
If they were under a time crunch.
Yeah.
And they were thinking I have to release by this time and hit the schedule. Now they have a little bit of time to flesh out what they're thinking.
Oh
but-
yeah, previs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like script writing. Yeah, that's all. I think you can do a lot of that remotely.
So I think where it stops, obviously, Black Widow's done. Eternals probably hasn't finished production. Shang-Chi in pre-production. Doctor Strange, they haven't rewritten the script yet. And then so the rest of them gives you more time to work on the writing. But think about how important like this Phase 4 is to Marvel and how this could be a good way to have a soft reset back into the MCU for people with all this weird collection of movies, trying to get people on board with the Eternals, these crazy cosmic figures, and then bringing back, Thor and Doctor Strange could help Phase 4, or it could hinder it.
I think either way, Phase 4 has got a rough road ahead of it. So
Yeah, we may have to write off Phase 4 just because of fucking all the situation.
I mean, not saying that they're not going to put out quality films because they probably will put out at least like Marvel quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole thing's going to affect people in ways we don't even know yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's hard to tell if it's going to be as successful or if people are going to get out there or if it's how things are going to be released.
Yeah, you got the TV
If
shows.
theaters are even going to exist.
Right. You're right, though. It's so unprecedented, and the fallout that's going to continue, years down the line. You can't
I
predict
mentioned
that.
this to you, Imran, sorry, off air, but Fauci was already like, yep, for the foreseeable future, I would just advise against just getting rid of handshakes.
Yeah, nobody's shaking hands.
Oh, shit.
No shaking hands. Always wear a mask. There's plastic partitions in front of all the cashiers everywhere. You got dots and lines on the floor on where to
Where mine
stand.
went.
Yes, where?
You mean I can't make out with anybody anymore?
Oh, poor John. No.
How about-
God damn it.
Can I suck boobs?
Yeah, what about those?
Unless
There's boob sweat.
you just
Carry the virus.
you got to wipe it
I
down.
thought it was just, respiratory droplets. I don't see any boobs connected to that.
I don't understand this whole thing. I really am. I'm not a doctor, and so I don't know things. I'm not smart. But when people tell you that, like, okay, you can get it from droplets, but it's not technically airborne, and you can eat food and not worry about people sneezing on your food, but you can get it on your clothes. It's like, this shit doesn't make any sense to me.
all of it.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
all of
you've
it.
heard all this, right?
Yeah.
Like all these
Yeah.
things. And like, does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense
I've heard
to me.
different symptoms too. The symptoms change and
So.
kind of vary.
Yeah, I've heard different things. I kind of have a general understanding, but I don't fully get it either.
I can't get my head around it. It's like when the scientists talk, like, no, you can order food.
Yeah. Just wipe it down.
I'm like, well, what if a guy, like, it's droplets. Now, if the droplets get on my food, like if the food's cooked to a certain temperature, I guess the thing dies.
It does, but what if he sneezes on it after?
Yeah. So, like, I don't get it.
Jesus.
Am I going to die if I order pizza? That's what I want to know. If I get tacos.
Listen, you get pizza, you spray some Lysol on it, and you eat it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's actually, that unlocks a hidden flavor.
Yes, that's the
just
special.
douse alcohol in everything.
They're like, people are like, oh, what's that weird flavor? Oh, Febreze.
All right, listen, I would like a penny vodka with heavy on the vodka.
I'm drenching all my food in tequila.
I'm dipping my pizza in Tito's vodka from now on. Listen, you can suck on boobs, Anthony. Just carry around alcohol wipes for, you wipe
For the
them
boobies?
Yeah, you wipe
All
it
right.
down.
And just swab them down.
Everyone now in their wallets, instead of condoms, should be carrying alcohol wipes as like the sex thing, because
That'll be that probably will come out as everyone walking around with hand sanitizer.
yes. Hey, baby, you want some hand sanitizer? That's like the new euphemism. Listener, let us know what you think of the Marvel Phase 4 rescheduling. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. It's an exclusive closed group just for you. Just to hang out.
Jock and Nerd.
To hang out with us. The human soundboard nails it again.
I fucking loved it.
Yes, he loves being in the group, and we love hanging out with all of you. Check it out. Speaking of Disney, let's talk about their streaming service, Disney Plus. Finally had its international launch. It has hit a major milestone, surpassing 50 million subscribers just 5 months in.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
The last time we checked on numbers was in February. It's up more than 22 million since they disclosed those numbers. It is now in the UK, India, Germany, Italy, Spain, Austria, Switzerland, France. And to compare, Netflix has 167 million subscribers around the world.
And yet, I still think there's nothing good on there.
Possibly, I believe you may be right. Hulu only has 30 million US. It's not international.
I mean, there's a library, of course, of stuff that I've already seen.
Yes, they're still relying on their huge content of nostalgia, feel-good, Disney branded
I
stuff.
got to admit too, I don't necessarily mind the app,
Yeah.
but I haven't really gone back to watch anything on there other than when the Mandalorian was on.
The only thing that I watch now is the new episodes of Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah, you got the Clone Wars. You got all...
And that's it.
Yeah, you got all the Star Wars content.
For a half-hour show that comes out once a week, that's it. I got this Disney Plus.
So they've done things like release Frozen 2 early. They released Onward very early, and they just announced Artemis Fowl that was supposed to debut in the theaters, have a theatrical release.
Shit no one cares about.
Right. Will now debut on Disney Plus. So Bob Iger, former CEO Bob Iger, did this interview with Barron's, and he said there will be likely other titles that will go to Disney Plus early that won't go to the theaters, but none of the tentpole shit, obviously,
Right.
is going to go there. They're going to wait for better time slots.
It'll be interesting to see. We talked about it last week, though, about what the strategy is with movie theaters moving forward, if they still exist the same way.
So interesting to note, Birds of Prey that came out early on VOD for $20. They just dropped the price to $6.
Oh, shit.
They were like, you know what? Just make it $6. We need to fucking make our money back and get a sequel. And if they drop Bloodshot to $6, I will watch it, even though I know
I watched Bloodshot.
I know. I don't.
Apparently, you reviewed it.
Yes, he did. Oh, yeah, he did.
They also, I think today, dropped Godzilla 2014 to $4 or something, or $4.99, because today is the Monsterverse watch party.
Oh.
So it's the first one, and then the next week there's going to be another movie that they're going to offer at like a cheap price.
Where's
And
this
then-
Monsterverse watch party?
I think that if you, I don't know, you're going to have to go. It's on Twitter, and it's done through the Nerdist.
Oh,
So
okay.
right now, Gareth Edwards, or whatever the fuck his name is doing a live tweet.
I saw that. Yeah.
With everyone watching Godzilla at the same time, and they're offering it for like digitally for $4 or something, or $5. And then they're gonna do King Kong and then King of Monsters, all the
legendary movies.
and they're gonna do a live tweet with each director.
I just saw
Legendary.
I saw Bellotti and Tchaikovsky tweeting to the Godzilla account, and I didn't know it was Gareth Edwards, whatever his name is.
Oh, is he doing it now, saying your movie sucks? I hate you.
Yes.
I was just talking to him. Telling him he hates Legendary.
Shit.
Well, that's a fun idea. You watch all of the MonsterVerse movies.
But that's kind of like what they were doing with the Birds of Prey. They're trying to get, a groundswell of stuff. But this is like for movies that already been out. They're just trying to squeeze a little bit more money out of people.
Yeah, I mean, I think
With a thingy.
Like, what are they going to do with New Mutants? I still think they should just put that on Hulu and cut their fucking losses.
I don't know what they're doing with that.
But it's, I mean, that, so far Disney having 50 million subscribers 5 months after launch. That's not bad.
I wonder, like, what major streaming platform, maybe it'll be Disney, who knows, that just goes, you know what, like, especially if this pandemic lasts and people are like, I'm not going to a movie theater, anytime soon. What if they just go, fuck it, we'll just charge movie theater pricing on our app. You get the app,
yeah,
and then if you want to watch Black Widow in November, $15.
Yeah,
I think that it's going to go a step further. And listen to this. This is a whole conspiracy that I have.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Imran loves conspiracy.
There's no rug down anymore, right? You don't have the.
I don't have it loaded.
He is the rug down.
There you go.
All right. So, coronavirus is wiping out theaters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coronavirus is wiping out comic book stores.
Yes.
These are both things that big corporations have to split the profits with.
Oh.
Disney already has stores.
Yeah.
Now, all they have to do is expand to comic book stores. Disney can also own a theater, and they can all be a one-stop shopping. You can go to the theater, you can go to the comic book store, you can go to the Disney store.
Son of a
all
bitch.
in one shot. It's like a Disney fucking mega store with a theater in it. And they could keep all the money for themselves.
It's removing the middle business between the content makers and the end buyer.
I guarantee you
Holy
that's what they're thinking.
shit.
Doing.
Oh, shit.
They're going to do these at all of these mega malls that no one goes for shopping anymore because everybody's buying shit online. So it's going to be like the Disney experience. And it's going to have like a fucking IMAX. It's going to have like the movie theater with the fucking seats that they blow you during the movie and everything. Well, not with Disney, but maybe like with WB. But like, I mean, they're going to have like all like they're going to have like all the shit, like the 3D, the 4D.
I mean, you got my conspiracy gears
Tenacious D,
spinning.
all the D.
Tenacious D. But it makes sense. This is the fear of releasing things digital is you're cutting out the retailers and now that they're all shut down,
now that first of all, they're at the weakest point.
Yeah, yep.
They used to be the gatekeepers. They're like, all right, you want to fucking run your movie on my theaters?
Yeah.
I have the fucking distribution, motherfucker.
But Disney has.
I am the gatekeeper.
Disney is already bullied theaters. They're known for this. They've been doing it for years. So they're like, play our movie in all your screens, or you're not getting the movie.
So now they got the upper hand.
Damn, the mouse is evil genius. I'm sure they've thought about it.
And everyone's gonna follow suit with what the mouse does.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Does AMC have stock? Let's look this up.
AMC. Oh, that's a good point. I think they do have stock, and they may not be able to open up.
Well, that's my point. Is maybe, we talked about this earlier with, I believe it was Apple.
Yeah,
maybe buying Disney, but one of these big companies just going, all right, AMC, I'm just going to own all
AMC.
your
Oh shit, AMC's are now Disney theaters.
Christ. AMC stock right now is very low. $2.60.
Oh, shit.
We can buy AMC right now, you guys.
Let's buy AMC.
How much money?
Look, there's gonna be when this stuff starts to like when the fear starts to dissipate a little bit, you're gonna see some moves being made.
Yeah,
they're already being plotted.
Oh, sure.
But they're not going to jump on it until they know that, okay, they have people to come.
I think we have enough in the Patreon kitty to purchase AMC right this moment. Anthony, pull up Robin Hood. Get it done. Just send the order.
Whatever you think our Patreon subscribers would be.
You think
with that?
We would all own a theater chain.
We own the theaters, and we could just play our podcast.
You guys would be co-owners in the AMC theater chain, and we'd rename it to Jock and Nerd Theaters.
Jock and Nerd.
We would give one to every Patreon person in across the country.
You get a theater.
Including West Cranford in Australia.
Yes, everyone gets an AMC theater.
In our Australian contingent,
yes,
we have West Cranford.
Let's make it happen. I don't know. That's a good conspiracy, Rugs. Back to the streaming wars, because another streaming service launched this week. Not to quite a successful launch as Disney Plus, but Quibi is out, everyone.
Oh, shit.
I've watched an episode on Quibi.
I've been poking around, watching a bunch of shit on Quibi. Their launch reported numbers was that on the Monday, 300,000 users downloaded the app.
Well, for what it's worth, they're offering a 90-day free trial,
which is the best. It's so smart. The 90-day trial is amazing. It's easy. That I had it pre-ordered, and then you just there were like the things available. But that 300,000 comparatively is 7.5% of the Disney Plus download total, where Disney had like 4 million installs. So it's Disney.
Quibi's like kind of trying to be its own thing in the video streaming category, right?
Yes.
It's only on phones,
right? It's only on the phone. There is no browser.
The minute that they start
version.
charging you for this shit, no one's going to get.
Well,
it's dead in the
water. It's $5 a month after the 3 months. But look, Anthony, I'll give my initial reaction to this app. I've actually kind of really been enjoying the Quibi, because the transition from portrait to vertical is fucking cool.
It is cool.
I don't think.
What are you talking about?
I don't think I've seen anybody else do it this way.
So you can watch it on landscape, or you can watch it vertical. And in the midst of watching the show, you can just keep flipping it, and it'll flip with it. And it actually is pretty seamless.
Every show does that. The ads do that. And there are times when you want to.
Why do you want to change your view in mid-watch?
I just do it because it's new. And I'm just like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, okay, I'm watching something and I'm like, wonder what this chick's ass look like. And then you can like turn the phone.
It's a wider shot.
And then you can see. You can see down.
The vertical shot, you'll get a closer look at her ass because it zooms in more into the middle of what the shot is.
Oh, so it just zooms in.
Well, but it's different.
Okay, I get it. So they're all shot basically landscape, but then you can cut in vertical.
There's some kind of technology that
all right, I was wondering what was going on.
It frames the shot and moves things around. And I've noticed in the scripted shows, in the vertical aspect, the portrait, there's a lot of close-ups. And there's more edits than in the landscape mode, because you got to show more. But then in some of the other shows, when stuff is stacked.
How much shit did you watch?
Ooh, I watched a bunch of stuff. So
are they shooting these things and then editing them two different ways according to how you hold the phone?
I don't know, because there are different.
What a waste of time.
But I think it's a computer
I would
thing.
say that when you transition from vertical to horizontal, the show doesn't look any different other than how it's shot, or not how it's portrayed via with how you have how you're holding your phone. Like, I don't think it's a entirely different shot.
No, but the cuts are different whether you're landscape or portrait. There's different edits. There's more.
It's making my head hurt,
dude. It's wild. I would check it out and have fun with it. So, first of all, I got sucked into the show Survive with Sophie Turner and Corey Hawkins about there's a plane that crashes in the mountains and they got to survive. That one got me sucked in. There's a cooking show. This is a wild selection of shows. It's like one show from every cable network, like all in one place. There's a cooking show called Dishmantled, where this is how it starts out. You have two chefs. They're wearing goggles they can't see, and they're wearing like white hazmat suits, and they're in a room with a glass wall, and they explode food at them.
Oh, shit.
All right? The food is shot in their face. It goes on the wall. It goes on the floor. They have to then taste what exploded at them, and they have 30 minutes to recreate what they think the dish is with however many ingredients.
This is only in 10 minutes, right?
This one episode is 5 minutes. It's a whole cooking show in 5 fucking minutes. And they're like licking the wall and eating off the floor, and then they go cook it, and they're swearing in it, which is also crazy. That show is fun.
I'll just give the example of what I watched.
Yeah.
I only watched one thing. It was something I've been familiar with. I watched Punk'd.
Yes, with Chance the Rapper.
With Chance the Rapper, and as he got Megan Thee Stallion. I'll say it was entertaining. It was entertaining. It's weird that the show was less than 10 minutes. That was real strange.
6-minute episodes.
And I think I was more entertained by the fact that I could just transition vertical to horizontal for a bit.
It's fun to do.
So I don't know after watching it one time if I was completely hooked.
I've been keeping up with a couple of the shows. There's another like murder mystery show that takes place in 1995. The news shows, there's a BBC News World Report, NBC News Report. Those are very good. They're short. They're updated daily. And every day there's been like new episodes of shit. And they started.
Sure. Everything gets a new episode. The one thing I thought of right away is the first show that I saw ads for were with Sophia Turner.
Yeah.
And I was just going, if you're an actor or an actress, why are you doing this? How are you showing off your acting chops in stuff that's this short?
You can do it. This is, we talked about how like a lot of Hollywood wanted to be involved once ball got rolling.
There's this idea because TikTok and Snapchat and all of these Vines or all of the people are getting super famous from these things.
Yep.
That all the little people, the youngins, or I like to call them the shitheads, that's how the new tastemakers are going to be born. Is going to be they're going to be watching all of these quick things.
Well, now you want to be TikTok. You want to be TikTok famous. You want to be Instagram famous.
Yeah. So why go and try and learn to be a good actor and like hone your craft, learn about direction when you could just turn on TikTok and it'll do it for you.
I have to say, having now been on TikTok and Quibi,
yes,
I don't doubt that this is the direction for the world moving forward, and it's a scary place.
It's weird that it's forcing me to, I'm kind of enjoying watching in portraits sometimes. I didn't think that would fucking ever happen, but it is fun to switch it, and the technology is amazing.
This is all happening from YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's the granddaddy of all this shit, is that people are making content, like Chris Stuckman. They're making, these 5-minute videos, 15-minute videos that you can, enjoy on your phone when you're taking a shit or whenever, or, when you got 5 minutes to do something.
The big thing, as we talked about when we first talked about it, is YouTube is free. Quibi isn't. Are people going to pay for this stuff once you have to start paying?
After this 3 months, if I get hooked, I may continue to pay for it.
You can continue to get news and stuff on YouTube. I don't know.
On other places.
The original content would be.
This is my whole thing about this Quibi thing. All right. YouTube did all this stuff. YouTube's been doing all this stuff.
Yeah, but none of their original stuff has been successful. Produced by YouTube.
No, they did the Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, but that's a long form show.
That's the only one though. But YouTube has not done all of these shows have a pretty high production. They look like TV shows.
I'm not saying YouTube themselves did it. I'm saying that people have been creating content on YouTube. I remember that there was a whole a bunch of things that were released on YouTube. There was Oat Studios. There was Zoe Bell had a whole series that was on there. The famous stunt woman from Kill Bill. She did a whole series. There's been web series on YouTube, pretty much.
Well, and the web series is nothing new. Remember years ago, there was a video.
CWC has done this,
CWC, yes. No, there was a video podcast I used to love called Ask a Ninja. Do you remember Ask a Ninja, Ruggs?
No.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. It was this guy who would just answer viewers' questions as a ninja. It's what a ninja would do. But look.
There's cooking shows on YouTube. There's all kinds of shit on there. So, they've been doing it forever.
I would recommend the 90-day trial for the listener to check it out because it is kind of a neat platform.
Listen, maybe I'm wrong and everyone's going to become Quibiing.
The one thing you can't, did you know you can't on a lot of these, on your phone, these streaming services, you can't screenshot the programs. You can't do it on Quibi. I tried and you get a black screen. Now, the same thing happens on Hulu and Netflix on your phone. The only difference being you can go to a web browser and screenshot a Netflix and Hulu show, and that could help people share shows and spread awareness.
Can you Chromecast?
You could probably send the Quibi to your TV via Apple TV. I would think so because I don't
know if I've heard if you can do that.
That's let me see. If I press this, it's going to ask because built in, it's going to ask for your Apple TV. I haven't tried that. That would be interesting.
That's the thing that you would need to do, because eventually, like, I don't mind watching stuff on my phone, but once I was able to start casting to my TV,
yeah,
it was all like that. That's where I went.
Well, I don't see an option to send this to Apple AirPlay. That's interesting.
Because how often, like when you're watching stuff,
yeah,
like on TV or whatever, or watching videos on your phone, are you really doing that while like you're traveling around, or like, I mean, you could do it on airplanes, but I'm saying, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the YouTube stuff I watch, I just put it on TV. I cast it to my TV. Like, I don't actually. So like, if I'm at home, I don't prefer to watch things on my phone.
This, you have to sit down and watch it on your phone. Yes.
Right.
It's definitely like, I'm going to sit down for the next 5 to 8 minutes and watch this show on the phone. But
and are you like watching videos if you're in a cab or walking to, or like, I don't know.
Not if you're walking.
I guess people are, but I don't know.
I this is what the silver lining in this is, whether Quibi or not takes off or not, is that YouTube's algorithm and their whole way of displaying shit is dog shit. It's bad. You can't find anything new. You can't have curated lists.
Right.
And Quibi is doing like, okay, we're going to create a bunch of content for you to watch, and you're going to have things to choose from, and we're going to like do what Netflix does. It pushes things to you so you know what things that you're interested in or whatever. But YouTube is terrible at that.
Yeah.
And you really don't ever know what's out there, like, unless you dig for it.
They used to be good, and they fucked it all up.
Yeah, there's no like, oh, this is the new cool stuff. Check this out.
Yeah.
In fact, they used to have channels.
Yeah.
They took all of those away.
Now they just show you the same shit that what you just
There's no
watched.
like comedy channel
Right.
you could click on and see all the or popular stuff or YouTubers that are to watch or Spotlight. There's none of that anymore. They used to have all that. They got rid of all of that. So if Quibi does take off, maybe it'll force YouTube to fucking get their shit together and stop being, I don't know, with this algorithm that is like making the experience really, really, really like vanilla and bland.
I mean, and it's all them trying to figure out how to make the most money.
Do you remember what it was like before the algorithm? You used to fucking find shit all the time.
Yeah. Crazy,
there was
weird
memes
things
going around.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of great stuff you'd stumble onto.
Well, Quibi, look, they got like 50 shows right now. They're going to be releasing more shows, and I'm going to be using it a lot during this 90-day trial. 90 month. That would be great. 90-day free trial. It's a huge amount of time to like, I'm going to get sucked in. I'm like, I'm going to have this, and I'll probably end up fucking paying for it. So,
you will get, you're such a sucker.
You know, it's going to work on me. Absolutely. Other stuff is delayed. Ruggs, what you were just talking about with your conspiracy about content makers and how they're removing the middle person ties into some other things that are delayed that kind of surprised me. I didn't think about video games would get delayed. It's kind of the same situation as comic book stores, isn't it? Most notably, The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed indefinitely. It was supposed to come out May 29th, and that was already the second time it had been pushed back. But I was like, what? Well, I guess it's like comic books, because what? Couldn't you just release it on the PlayStation Store and have people buy it? Now, again, your GameStops are going to get mad. Is that probably they don't? And of course, you don't want people all going to the GameStops to buy the game on a day when it comes out. That's probably where they're coming from.
Are we at the point where you can just release games without having a physical copy of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is already happening.
But the problem is that you run out of space so fast.
Oh, okay.
They didn't really think to like really give you enough hard drive space to like support like what a real gamer's appetite is.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, let's say you have like 10 games on there, like that's it.
Yeah.
You can't get another because these games are huge.
And the downloads take a long time based on
they're constantly updating.
Yeah.
And DLC, and so you're making these games bigger and fatter every fucking like let's say Destiny. There's a new fucking season every season, and you have to download a whole bunch of gigs worth of shit every time. So your shit's getting filled up.
So, Ruggs, you would say we aren't completely past digital physical media for the video games. You kind of still need the disc there.
I think that a lot of the games require you to at least have the disc in to help.
Yeah,
I guess
to get started.
Yeah, I mean, like if you buy the game on disc, all right, this is what happens. Let's say you own a game on disc, you put it in your PlayStation. It still has to copy shit over to the hard drive. So your hard drive's getting full no matter what, even if you have a disc and if you don't have it.
And then there's like all the updates that has to download before you can fucking start playing.
Yeah. That's why I can't wait for this fucking remote gaming to happen. Like I was telling you about that other thing.
Stadia.
That Stadia. Like even though it's shitty, when the internet gets better and all the technology gets, there's still a problem with latency, but that's going to be the way. Like you have nothing. You don't have to worry about upgrading your technology or whatever. All you have to worry about is your controller and your internet connection, and then you're good to go.
Ruggs, this story came out yesterday. Google Stadia now free to anyone with a Gmail address.
Oh, shit.
Stadia Pro also free for 2 months. They're letting everyone try it out while everyone's at home.
You still got to pay for games, though.
And you probably have to buy a controller
Yeah.
that controls it, but it's got...
I think you might have to buy I think Stadia on your phone is free.
Yeah.
Stadia on your computer might be free. But Stadia as a console, like with I think you might need like on your TV.
Yeah.
You might need to buy some shit.
Well, Destiny 2, the collection is you'll have free access as of April in this 2 free months of Stadia.
Destiny's free now.
Oh, okay. So speaking of the next consoles and the PlayStation 5 going to be coming out soon, and I think, Ruggs, have you followed any of the hardware? Because like you said, hard drives are limiting, and I believe they're using an SSD now in the PlayStation 5.
Solid state drive, yeah.
So, but aren't those usually smaller than the spinny drives?
Well, the solid state drives are way more expensive.
They're faster.
And yeah, they're way fast, and then there's no moving parts, so it's a lot more reliable. But it's hard to get like a ridiculously large one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a cost thing or whatever, but like usually you don't see SSDs from maybe you have a terabyte, and if you're lucky,
those are expensive. Yeah, they haven't. Right? The cost of that hasn't come down.
And a terabyte sounds like a lot, but in terms of gaming, it's not really.
Yeah, and I mean the games are just going to get bigger. You're going to need more space. Sony did reveal though their new controller. It's called DualSense for the PlayStation 5. Anthony, did you click this link? You see a picture of this controller?
I looked at it.
Describe it.
I don't know. It's like the Xbox controller.
That's
right?
what a lot of people were saying.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't really.
It's white.
It doesn't. A new controller doesn't really do anything for me. The only thing is, I played this like the latest Nintendo game.
Yeah, the Switch.
Is it the Switch?
Yeah, that's fun.
I don't know what the fuck. But the controller was so goddamn small.
Well, it's like
like I could break it in half.
It's like your classic Nintendo old school controller. Yeah, they like that. Those controllers are.
I don't like a small controller.
They are kind of like lightweight plastic.
Anthony likes something big in his hand.
Big and hefty. Yeah. Well, you might like
meaty.
You might like this DualSense. It has a couple of new interesting features. There will be a built-in mic now, so you don't need a headset to chat. There's already a speaker in there, which is fucking. It's fun for Last of Us when those fucking clickers come out. You hear like clicking noises coming out from your controller. Always scares the crap out of me. It'll have enhanced haptic feedback. It's an advanced rumble, more sensations like the slow grittiness of driving a car through mud. This controller will jizz in your hands.
Oh shit!
You'll be playing, and then you'll be like, "Why are my hands all sticky? What happened? Wow, this is an amazing controller." No, it's not going to do that, but it should. It should spray water at you like a 4D theater. The adaptive R2 triggers, they'll have more tension. Like if you're pulling back a bow, you'll feel the tension get more taut as you pull it back, like actually pulling back a bow.
I read about that.
That's kind of cool.
I wonder how that even works.
That's like amazing micro technology.
Well, everything's passive on the controller, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to involve a mechanism that's going to make the controller, like, I guess, harder to push, harder to pull.
Yeah, based on.
So, yeah, that's cool.
That's kind of.
I mean,
neat.
why not? That could be cool.
Gives you more sensation and more immersion.
This is what's cool about it. All right. So when you buy a controller, the controllers are set a certain way.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the game, they can program the controller to feel however you want.
Yeah.
So, on one thing, maybe pressing these triggers they're really light, but maybe this is really hard. And it maybe gives you a different feel for the game. It gives you a little bit more persona into the game. So there's a different reaction. There's a different tactile response. So I think that's a way to make things more individual and different
and immersive.
Variety.
Yeah. And
so that's cool.
They've updated the ergonomics to fit big hands like Anthony. So you'll be able to hold this nice and comfortable.
I don't actually have very big
No,
hands.
you don't. You have like normal size hands.
Yeah. Maybe even then my hands
Small.
are actually unusually soft.
Oh, boy.
Like everyone that shook my hand, which you can't do anymore, but they've always been like creeped out by my hands. So like your hands are like baby hands. And I just say that these hands are not made for.
Are you the
presents.
president of the United States?
Yeah, this man hasn't worked a hard
I
day
have
in
the
his
biggest
life.
hands there is.
Yeah, these aren't peasant hands. These are king's hands.
I got
for
the
sure.
biggest, softest hands around. Feel them. Feel them. It's like velvet. Touch my hands. You go around going, feel my hand. Look how smooth this is.
That's a man who's very secure in himself.
Absolutely. Or has
Absolutely.
uses a lot of moisturizer.
He's like, I got small hands and they're soft. Fuck yourself.
You're gonna like it.
Look at his dick.
Look at this.
Very soft.
Anyhow.
Okay, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
All right, look, with that, let's take a quick break for some promos, and we're going to come back and review the Coen brothers Raising Arizona right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll get you back to your podcasty goodness now in a minute.
First, we'd like to take a second to tell you about our marginally better podcast, the 365 Flicks podcast.
I am the Scottish weeding whore, Chris.
And I am the Pissy X video store clerk, Kev.
And we bring you the latest movie and TV news, reviews, and rants.
All that and a bunch of top fives that you really will not care about.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Libsyn, and all other third-party podcasting apps.
And on top of all that, you'll get free access to our indie talk. You'll hear us speaking with directors, producers, actors, comic book creators, and artists about their experiences.
Don't forget to drop us 5 stars and follow us on the Facebooks and the Twitters.
Told him not to go in the water.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Carol.
And we're the hosts of Retro Late Fee. We are stuck in 1994.
And we can't get out.
We're watching all the movies and TV shows that you probably remember, I guess. Somehow we're speaking to you through some kind of time portal.
Right.
Join us every week for great movies and TV shows from 25 years ago.
It's fun, I swear.
Doc and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, if we've been giving you some chuckles, keeping you company during the quarantine, consider joining our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon, where Anthony is just posting. Well, I'm posting, but
You're posting
you
it,
are
yeah.
sending me movie review after movie review.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What? Corona binge reports are hot right now. What did you post this week?
Let's see. Let's start off. Was Out of Sight last week, or did you post it before we recorded?
Out of Sight, I'm counting as this week because it was after we recorded.
So Out of Sight,
Yes.
which I think is free, right?
That is a sponsored review, free to everyone. Just go visit the page.
Out of Sight. I did The Departed. I did Perks of Being a Wallflower. The Spectacular Now. Get Out. Green Book. And Whiplash is free, right?
Whiplash is also free. And then adding to that, I did my second Seth Morgan sponsored Corona Binge report for Life is Beautiful,
I like that movie.
which is also free. It is a beautiful movie. You went on a little Miles Teller kick there, though, didn't you, Anthony, with the Whiplash?
I did. I went on a Miles Teller kick, and then I don't know. I just was all over Miles Teller, and I enjoy him in 2 of the films that I saw. So.
I'm going to tell you, Whiplash, J.K. Simmons does some of the most amazing verbal abuse you're ever going to hear.
Oh, shit.
Just
I
abuse.
was surprised by Whiplash. I don't give 2 shits about jazz, and I actually liked it.
Yeah, that's great. No,
I enjoyed that too.
I love music movies. There's a lot of great
So they
music
were all
movies.
good, Anthony, or did you hate any of them?
I did not like Out of Sight.
Oh.
And I found Green Book to be a little flat. I liked it, but I found it to be a little flat if you think about it too much.
That one won the Oscar that year, right?
That won the Best Picture that
Yeah,
year.
that
And
one
everyone
was-
was real mad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a little pandering, is what I
It's
think.
a little. Well, first, I mean, not to make this a Green Book discussion, but you know what a Green Book is?
But no.
I believe. So if I'm wrong, correct me. But I believe it is a book that was given to African Americans traveling south during the segregation days.
Oh.
That would basically tell them where it is safe to dine and stay.
Oh, okay.
Yet, so the movie is called Green Book.
Yeah.
Yet the movie, for what it is, in the perspective of the Italian New York racist guy.
Yeah, yeah.
So right off the bat, it's a little like strange.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very very surface level in terms of touching on stuff, and it's very like at the end, oh, racism is cured. We're all just best friends, sort of thing.
Oh, wow. They cure racism in the length of a movie. That's good.
Basically, yeah.
What about Get Out?
Yeah, I want to know what you thought about Get Out.
Get Out, I liked a lot.
Yeah, that's a great.
I thought Get Out was really good.
That is.
I liked Get Out, and I liked that it was kind of by the end, kind of crowd pleasing to see some of the stuff that he does to the family in Revenge.
Yeah, it's a great kind of genre for Jordan Peele. One that I did not think. You know, he's so funny on Key and Peele. I was so surprised. And Us is pretty good too. I would follow that up with Us.
Now that I watched Get Out, I had a lot of people saying you should watch Us. So
yeah, listen, listener, a lot of good stuff. Ruggs, you owe us some Corona binge reports. I'm still waiting on them.
Did I watch anything?
You still have another sponsored one to do for.
Which one is that?
I'll tell you later. I don't remember right now. I'm sure Seth Morgan will tweet you and tell you which one it is as soon as he hears this. But listener, you want bonus content? JockandNerd.com.
Was there another one?
There was another one. /Patreon is where you will find
I didn't know that.
bonus content. All right, let's get into this week's Patreon sponsored movie review. Another fun thing we do if you give us $10 a month or more on the Patreon, you get to pick any movie all three of us will watch and all three of us will review. This week, we are reviewing the Coen Brothers cult comedy classic, Raising Arizona, from 1987. Here is your spoiler alert.
Everybody freeze. Everybody down on the ground.
Well, which is it, young feller? You want I should freeze or get down on the ground? Mean to say, if I freeze, I can't rightly drop. And if I drop, I'm going to be in motion. You see?
Shut up!
Okay, then.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
This one is sponsored to Wes Cranford, Patreon supporter Wes Cranford.
Oh, I was wondering who picked this. Now I'm less surprised.
Yes, all the way from Australia. This is his second Patreon pick. We did Scott Pilgrim for him first. That is a Patreon only bonus movie review you can check out when you sign up to our Patreon. Thank you to Wes Cranford to being a patron for 23 months.
Talking nerd.
Tight. One more year, you can send us another movie,
Yes,
Wes.
thank you, Wesley.
Yeah.
Continue to message me your little cool things you message me too.
Dude, I love, he's like paddleboarding out and you see like the Sydney Opera House like behind him. I'm like, oh my God. That's
those things, and he'll message me like song recommendations or like fests he's at, like social things. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
As long as there's not dick pics in there.
Not yet.
Don't give him any ideas.
No, Wes, I also appreciate he'll send me hip hop acts from down under that he thinks I like, and I usually like a lot of them. So, yeah, love the communication with Wes. Thanks for being a listener and a patron. Raising Arizona on Rotten Tomatoes is 91% tomato meter.
Oh, shit.
Average score 7.6 out of 10. This movie was made for mostly nothing. $5 to $6 million was the budget, and it ended up making $29 million worldwide way back in 1987. But almost $30 million for a $6 million movie. That's not too bad. This is the Coen Brothers' second film following Blood Simple. This is written and directed by Joel and Ethan Coen, starring Nicolas Cage, Holly Hunter, Trey Wilson, John Goodman, William Forsythe, Francis McDormand, Randall Tex Cobb, and a bunch of other great character color actors. Anthony, you've probably never seen this or any Coen Brothers movie before, have you?
No Country for Old Men.
Oh, that's the only one which they did way later. Yeah, after this, they went on to do just some amazing movies like Fargo, Hudsucker Proxy, Big Lebowski, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? No Country for Old Men, 2007. So was that fucking 20 years after they make this movie? So yes, this is an early Coen Brothers movie, and the Coen Brothers tend to be a little esoteric, a little bit of an acquired taste. So first, give us the plot. What happens in Raising Arizona?
It's about this guy living in Arizona, played by Nick Cage, who's a serial criminal, loves to rob places and get caught, falls in love with one of the police officers in jail, and they're trying to have a baby. She's infertile, so they decide to steal a baby from a group of a wealthy family that had quintuplets, I believe, 5, right?
Yep, they had quintuplets.
And is about them raising this child with all the wacky shit that's going to happen to a convict that's only has friends that are convicts as well. And it's, as I would describe it as a living Looney Tunes kind of cartoon kind of feel.
Absolutely.
So that's what it's about.
Stealing the baby from the unpainted furniture owner, Nathan Arizona. Or my name isn't Nathan Arizona. So I'm super curious to know what you thought of this wacky, quirky movie.
What do you guys think I thought of this? Let's turn it around just real quick.
Ruggs.
I mean,
I think he doesn't like it.
No, this is what I think. I think that pre-corona Anthony would probably hate this film.
Okay.
But I think that the new Anthony, the new improved Anthony,
that's getting a little more,
who has basically lived like Rug Boy for about a month.
Yeah, just watching movies
and just watching shit and like just
getting cultured,
going out of his comfort zone. I think that maybe he could see some interesting things about this film.
Okay.
That would make him appreciate it a little bit.
Split vote there, Anthony. Which one of us is right?
I didn't like this film.
I win points.
But I will say I didn't. This is another movie that Wes has picked that I had similar feelings because he picked Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim.
There's something about these two movies, this one even more so, where my brain wiring is not clicking with what I'm seeing on screen. Now, the only thing I will admit is that the camera work at times is very well done and very jarring, and like there's lots of like different things going on, and I can recognize that there's a lot of interesting performances here, but I have to admit the entire film I was like, this sucks. I hate this. This is not my film at all.
Barry.
I wasn't really entertained. I didn't laugh. By the end of it, I was like, let's get this shit over with. So
like I said, Ruggs, would you agree with me that the Coen brothers' quirky sensibility, sense of humor, not necessarily for everyone? It's funny you say that because I remember after Fargo came out, I was in New York and then, hanging out with my movie school friends, and I came back home to hang out with old high school friends. And I was like, dude, you got to watch Fargo. It's amazing. Like I'm all cultured. I'm into movies, and my friends are not. They watched it. They were like, this fucking movie is boring. This is the dumbest thing. I was like, what? I couldn't, but
I completely, I've been both of those people.
Yeah.
When I saw Raising Arizona for the first time, I did not like it either.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? This is a stupid fucking movie. And I felt the same way with Fargo. I'm like, this shit is boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And then I realized, these guys make boring movies.
Well,
boring movies that people like. One of the guys that I hung out with when I was young and I was in high school, he was one of these dudes that like, he was a movie guy.
Yeah.
He was into like horror films and just all weird. The weirder the movie, the better. All right. And he loved these guys. So I saw it like many other movies. He sat me down and you got to watch this movie. And I was like, this fucking shit is stupid. But then after all of these years of watching movies and then going back and watching it now, especially now that I have seen so many other movies. Now, do I think it's a genius film? No.
Yeah.
But I love the camera work in this movie. I love some of the juxtapositions in this movie. I love the fact that Nicolas Cage's hair changes with his mood.
With his stress level. It's like he said he wanted to make it like Woody Woodpecker, like the crazier it gets. It's never the same.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, his hair is always messy.
I do like the fucking weird ass cartoony, like over dramatic craziness, like when John Goodman is like screaming as he gets up and the lightning is flashing.
John Goodman's screaming a lot in this
And then
movie.
like the fucking guy, Lewis Small, what's his name? Mr. Smalls?
Yeah, Lenny Smalls.
Lenny Smalls.
The demon
He's
biker.
fucking driving with the fucking Ghost Rider fucking flame behind him.
So crazy.
Like all of that shit is like just wacky. Even the open scene where the title card comes up of the thing, and it's just so like everything is just stands out as its own thing. Now, do I think everyone is going to watch this movie and like it? No, I didn't like it when I first saw it. So I could totally understand that, and I had to like watch it with a new set of eyes and just go, oh, he's doing like Evil Dead right there.
Yes.
He's doing some Sam Raimi shit.
Absolutely.
He's doing, this fucking chase scene is amazing. Yeah. When he's with the fucking Huggies, that's great.
That scene
that's
is
like
great.
there's a lot of tension there. There's a lot of like, they're running through the house with the dogs. Like, it looked like a fucking Spike Jones video.
It is.
The camera work on that in that scene is really good.
That was like a Beastie Boys video.
So it was great. And there is like these weird setups and story transitions and things like that. And every line is kind of like sets up something else that's being said. So the script is kind of like, it's minimal, but I think it's all matters. So I think it's definitely a film that's made by people with intent. It does have some kind of entertainment value, but it's not everyone's bag. And it wasn't my bag the first time I saw it either. So, and even when I was watching it this time, I was like, I really don't need to watch this movie again other than to just appreciate some of the camera work. So I do like this movie. It's not my favorite one of their movies, but I think it's still got a lot of cool stuff in it if you want to. And I know some people think it's like the perfect movie. I know that like the guy who did Scott Pilgrim.
Yes, Edgar Wright, hugely influenced by this movie.
He
and
was
the Coen
hugely
brothers.
influenced by a lot of movies have taken from this whole Looney Tunes aspect.
Yeah.
One of the other movies that I like to compare this movie to is Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
And Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Like we grew up in a time, we came like into like movies when directors were making visionary films and doing things that were like so them.
Yeah.
And you went to a Tim Burton film, he was going to get that cartoon aesthetic out there and his love of like old monster movies and that all of that weird shit that he's into his movies. And Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a living cartoon, is like a kind of a commentary on the 50s, has all this weird stuff, and it has a chase scene at the end of it that stacks and stacks and stacks and finally ends in this big crescendo, just like this movie. So I think that there's a lot of like parallels to Pee-wee's Big Adventure in this, and they're all weird childlike movies, and they all have Americana in them.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So I think that it kind of stands out in that way. So I think there is something to gain from watching it. I think that you might be a more well-rounded film critic or film connoisseur enthusiast if you watch this film. I think it needs to be seen in a way, but I don't know. So I do like this movie. I know it's not everyone's favorite, and I know how people can get turned off because it's not really sexy. There's nothing sexy about it. There's like, it's kind of dopey, like, in a lot of, like, the whole story of it is dopey.
Yeah.
But it ends up being kind of fun and interesting and having some artistic merit at the same time.
I mean, the Coen brothers have made 16 movies, and I think in their filmography, this is an important one in a sense that it was their second movie. They wanted to do something completely different than their first movie, which was like a dark, gritty crime thriller. This is still a crime movie, but it's a, completely opposite with sympathetic characters and zany, wacky sequences. But it's also, I found it heartfelt. But this is one of those movies that dudes will sit around and quote all day long. And there are some great quotes. myself, I remember seeing bits. I had seen all the famous bits, like the freeze, get on the floor bit, and the son, you got a panty on your head. I remember knowing that, but I think this is the first time I actually sat down and watched the whole movie. And at first I was like, this is a really weird movie. But as I think about it, as I go back and think about the movie, like it makes me laugh after the fact more. That opening 11-minute sequence before the title card it's a movie in itself, and it super efficiently sets up the characters and the problem and the whole movie really well. And there is a lot of things that you see the Coen brothers starting to develop in this movie that show up in other movies, like similar casts, crazy names. Like the names are great. H.I. McDonough and Holly Hunter is a girl named Ed. And then, they have names like Big Lebowski and Jerry Lundegaard from Fargo. They always have great names, but it's a very acquired taste. They're very esoteric and eclectic kind of things.
Well, I would say I didn't necessarily go and by the end of it go, this is a bad film.
Yeah.
My thought was this film is just not for me.
Yeah.
And I'm actually kind of just thinking about this now. It makes sense that Wes picked this film because Scott Pilgrim is a lot like this film for me. I had a lot of the same thoughts.
Interesting.
And Rugboy mentioned it too.
Interesting.
And I just, for whatever reason, at least right now, I just don't like films that have this like dopey, heightened sense of reality.
Yeah.
And both of these films are like that, where they're just over the top and not taking themselves too seriously, but still well made. And I don't know. It doesn't click for me at all.
I guess you got to be in the mood for that. I love those over the top.
Yeah, I generally don't like films like this
things.
either.
Yeah.
But then the one that from my childhood, like, when you see things as a kid, like it makes you get it, I guess, when you're a kid, like you get the Goonies.
Yeah.
Like Pee-wee's Big Adventure I was like, when I was able to like take that and Batman the movie and other Tim Burton things and go, oh, that's the parallel. Like they kind of are they're running along the same line there. And then I think about Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And then I think about his movies like Army of Darkness.
Well, Evil Dead 2 came out the same year this movie came out, and they had worked together in the past, and clearly they liked, Sam Raimi's style. Credit to Barry Sonnenfeld, the cinematographer, for the crazy handheld shaky cam shots.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
As a kid, I loved Naked Gun.
Yes.
Is that this type of movie as an adult? If I were to watch back Naked Gun, is this a similar type of movie?
No, Naked Gun's going to be based on its comedic prowess, right?
Okay, so that one's more comedy.
I don't think it's a filmmaking filmmaking thing, right? It's because it's a whole different tool set, right? You got comedy, setup, jokes, props, blah blah blah.
Joke punchline, yes.
So which is still hard to do and not really done well in a lot of other movies. But this is more like
it's a unique vision from these brothers.
You're trying to kind of create this thing that basically shouldn't work,
right?
And maybe doesn't work for a lot of people, but for the people that it works for, it really works.
So that's a great distinction to your question. Anthony is absolutely like Naked Gun and like Airplane, like the Zucker brothers movies. I love them to death for what they are, and those are dumb, slapstick, wacky comedy movies. This is, these auteur guys trying to have a vision,
right?
Trying to make something that's not a crowd pleaser on purpose. They're staying true to who they are and what they want to do. And just like Rugg said, you either get it or you don't. And that's all of the Coen brothers movies. You either like them or you don't like them.
Well, I feel like I've done a little bit of research on the Coen brothers. I feel like this movie was a little different than a lot of their other movies. Like a lot of their other movies, I feel like were a little more serious than this.
Yeah, you see them grow.
They're always a little bit funny.
Yeah, yes.
They're always a little bit silly, but this one is probably taxing you the most.
This is more out loud. This is like the loudest fucking movie they've ever done. I mean, John Goodman screaming, getting birthed from the ground like a fucking baptism. And then he's just screaming all the time. Like thinking about it now just makes me fucking laugh. He's just fucking screaming when they forget the baby.
You got the baby on the top of the car.
Yes.
It's just like all kinds of stupid shit.
I also love the scene where he goes to steal the baby. The camera work and the choreography in that scene is pretty amazing, and it's really funny. Where I didn't understand what he was doing. I was like, why are you taking all the? Are you trying to find? Was he trying to find the one that he liked?
I don't know what he was. I think he was trying to get caught.
Oh,
I think he was taking. It was. I don't think he was. He didn't like the idea from the get.
No, he didn't like the idea at all from Ed.
But he was doing it for her, and then he was just like kind of hemming and hawing and hoping he was going to get caught.
Yeah.
And then so he didn't have to go through with it. And then he makes it out of there without the baby. She sends him back in, and he goes back in again.
He gets the baby.
Yeah,
I love him so much.
Did you guys catch the thing with the tattoo?
No.
Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah, on his neck. Why? I didn't. Why'd they show that?
Well, the bad guy, the Horseman of the Apocalypse, had the same tattoo.
Right.
He had the woodpecker tattoo. Yes, Woody Woodpecker.
So, I know that like your first instinct is, are they related? Are they brothers? Are they whatever? But it's actually a prison tattoo.
Oh, I get it.
And of a prison gang, which may be or may not be a white supremacist.
Oh shit!
Prison gang.
Oh shit!
Wow.
So, they were called the Peckerwoods.
That's awesome.
And they had Woody Woodpecker was one of their symbol
on their dick.
No.
Oh, it should be on their balls. So the other thing, watching this now, that's different. Is you got to remember that 1987. This was a super unconventional movie for the time. Watching it now, you see the influences in guys like Edgar Wright and some of the newer filmmakers, and the stuff they did doesn't seem as like unique and unconventional because people have done it. They've all copped it. But 1987, this was a fucking weird movie. For people,
I mean, it's still weird.
It's
for me.
still weird.
Like based on this, I don't think Anthony would like any of Edgar Wright's other movies besides Ant-Man.
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
I think he'd like Baby Driver.
That one's good. Yeah.
That's a great sound. You guys didn't enjoy the soundtrack?
But what about the other with the zombies and everything?
I think I've seen parts of Shaun of the Dead, and I can tell you right off the bat, I didn't like it.
You don't like that comedy? I got to find a comedy you like because that Cornetto trilogy that he did. I love all three of those movies: Hot Fuzz and The World's End. And Shaun of the Dead is one of the best comedy zombie movies out there. It's fucking great, but not for Anthony.
But that's the thing that I don't get. All right, so Taika Waititi is kind of like a branch off of this.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So they're all kind of like if you look at the planets aligning of all of these different orbits that they're in, like Taika Waititi is not far off. It's like he's probably
he's like a degree of separation.
Yeah, he's like orbiting away around this kind of center. So it is crazy. Like you take Tim Burton, you take Terry Gilliam.
Yep.
You take all of these weirdo directors that do weirdo things that are quirky, that have eclectic tastes, and that, have esoteric shit going on in their thing. So like all of that stuff it's related. So it depends on what flavor you like.
I love all those auteur directors because when you go see a Tim Burton movie, kind of what you're getting. When you go see Guillermo del Toro movie, you know what you're getting. When you see Edgar Wright movie, you kind of know walking in what you're going to get.
Well, it might take time for me because initially when I saw Thor Ragnarok, I didn't like it that much.
Yes,
and then I've come to cut around on appreciating it.
Yeah.
But then the next Taika film I saw, Jojo Rabbit, I really enjoyed. I liked it a lot.
We might have to have you watch What We Do in the Shadows because I think you might.
Well, eventually we will have to.
We will.
Someone's paying for it.
Did you guys didn't? I enjoyed the soundtrack with the fucking banjo and the whistling and the yodeling.
I hated it.
No, it got stuck in my head. I want to talk about how
it's not my favorite either, to be honest.
I want to talk about how they talk. Because in all the Coen Brothers movies, they love dialects, regional dialects. In Fargo, it's heavy, thick, like where is that? In Minnesota,
Midwest?
North Midwest, like Minnesota. Yeah, funny guy, real funny guy. Eh? This one, they invented a dialect that he described as what he would imagine these people. Mostly what they read, how they would talk, and mostly what they read would be magazines and the Bible.
Oh, shit.
So it's a cross between like Mark Twain, William Faulkner, Southern writers, but it's very specific and weird. And it's like a whole made-up dialect that they made up. And the demon biker from hell, how can you not like a guy who blows up a bunny with a fucking grenade?
That guy.
He's shooting lizards and blowing up bunnies. And I'm like,
hated it.
I was like, where is this? Where does this fit into this fucking movie?
Exactly why I hated it.
It's just fucking quirky. So look, I pulled some quotes because like we said, this movie people quote, if you were a certain age, if you were in college when this came out, This was like My True Romance, where I could quote everything in True Romance.
It reminded me of True Romance.
It did. Oh, really? Yeah, it did.
Because with True Romance's quirky little soundtrack, of playing the, I don't know what that music was, but it reminded me of the same thing.
And it's just like one thing after another, and it just keeps fucking escalating. And
at one point during the movie, I went, I don't like this so much that I'm gonna come out and say, if this wasn't the Coen brothers, people wouldn't like this.
Yeah, I mean,
then I just backed off.
It's
that
become,
well, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. It's a polarizing film, but I'm not gonna say I love it, but I do appreciate aspects of it. I can appreciate aspects. It's not my go-to thing by any stretch of the imagination, but
I feel like this was right up Imran's alley.
Oh, dude, I love the quirky Coen brothers.
Imran's trying to sell it to us like it's his favorite movie.
It's not my favorite of theirs, but I have an appreciation watching it now and knowing their other movies. I love it. My favorite Nick Cage line is where he's like, Edwina's insides were a rocket place where my seed could find no purchase. I love how they talk like Eugene from The Walking Dead. Like, that's what it reminded me of. Fucking Eugene. And then the classic, freeze, get out of the ground. And he's like, which is it, young fella? You want us to freeze and get down? I can't do both. And then everybody just goes, okay then. Son, you got a panty on your head. That's a great line. That just makes me laugh thinking about that. And how weird Nick Cage is.
He's very strange in this movie.
He's very strange. Young Nick Cage, like his career based on the decade, it changes. Like his acting, like he was doing like Mystic Pizza and then serious stuff, and then this is like a peak.
Is this his first like famous role, or
it's?
No?
I think it's one of his earlier roles. Because as we know, he does 8 movies a year now because he needs to pay back the fucking tax collector. This wasn't. He was in Peggy Sue Got Married just before this, does Moonstruck right after this. And those 3 movies is kind of what like got him big, were those 3 in a row. And then you got Wild at Hearts and Firebirds and then Honeymoon.
Peggy Sue That Got Married.
Remember Peggy Sue Got Married? That's a time travel movie.
His best movie is Face Off.
Is it? Do you think so?
I don't know. I just love Face Off.
I think it's Face Off is in the conversation.
Leaving Las Vegas to me is one of my favorites.
Leaving Las Vegas is good.
But he's good in also Lord of War. He's done some good shit and some really
adaptation,
really bad.
Actually, I'll give him credit too. His role just trying to be Adam West and Kick-Ass is really funny.
Oh yeah, he does a good job as the aging superhero dude. Right. They initially wanted Kevin Costner for the role. I don't know.
For Raising Arizona?
Young
Nick Cage. Kevin Costner, 87.
I can't see that.
No, I don't know.
Nick Cage, although very crazy, I was like, I'm not surprised Nick Cage would have done this.
Yeah, he's just entertaining to watch in anything because he's such a fucking Ghost Rider. He's great. He's just pointing at things and drinking M&Ms.
No one has better crazy eyes than Nick Cage.
Yeah, he could definitely pull it off. Ruggs, the demon biker from hell, Leonard Smalls, was played by Randall Tex Cobb, who's a boxer. I guess he's not an actor. He did not know how to ride a motorcycle, and he broke his shoulder on the first day of filming. He crashed during a take and did the rest of the show on painkillers.
Oh, shit.
Which is probably why his fucking lines are so strange and like, what is he doing in this movie?
Well, he didn't need to do anything but be scared.
No, and that was the point. They wanted a villain that would appear like what Nick Cage character H.I. would imagine in his head, which is where it starts. But then this guy is real. So yeah.
What do you think? You want to rate this?
Yeah, let's rate the fucking movie. Let's start with Anthony. I know it. He's got a low score. Let's start with you, Russ.
I got a low score. Unfortunately,
I can guess what you're gonna get.
Unfortunately, as much as I can appreciate the filmmaking, it's not going to make it as low as some of the films I actually thought were complete dog shit. But I'm going to have to go with a 3.5.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
It's not in the 1-2 category, but I was so unentertained by it that I have to put it really low.
Ruggs, what would you give it?
Oh my god! Oh, this is tough. But I mean, like, in a nutshell, this movie is definitely something you should watch if you're into film and you want to see like the beginnings or the era of quirky filmmakers that do shit with hardly any money and can come up with entertaining action sequences and weirdo shit. You know, that's kind of its own little thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a special movie. It's not my favorite movie. It's not something that I'm going to go back to and turn on and on again, but I do appreciate the camera work and a lot of the directorial stuff. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay, solid score. I think I'm landing in, look, it is an important movie in terms of American comedies, of the last 100 years and in terms of the careers of the Coen brothers, because it's just like listening to our first episode of our podcast. You see where we started. I love seeing these directors evolve, and there's a lot of actors like Holly Hunter, John Goodman that have become part of their troupe, and they all started here. Frances McDormand, who was married to Joel Coen at the time, I think it still is. So I'm gonna go 7. I'm gonna go straight 7. In terms of very unique, inside, quirky comedy.
I got a question real quick.
Yeah.
Are the Coen brothers still brothers?
They are actual still biological brothers, unlike
they made it to the end.
Wachowski.
Because there is
brothers.
Okay, I was getting them confused with the sisters.
Well, those are the Wachowski sisters.
Right. Okay.
That will give us Matrix.
There's
4.
a lot of brothers. There's the Farrelly brothers.
There's the Farrelly brothers. There's Zucker brothers.
There's the Zucker brothers.
Yeah.
Russos.
Coen
There's
brothers.
the Russo brothers. There's the
Russo
Coen brothers.
Yeah.
And there's the Mario brothers.
And then there's, of course,
and the Mutabi brothers.
You can't forget Mutabi brothers. Who's that?
That's from remember that skit from where they go to the club with Chris Kattan?
Oh yes, the Rock. That's
the Rock live at the Roxy.
The live at the Roxy. The Roxbury brothers.
Roxbury brothers.
Those guys are great.
The Roxbury.
Trying to dance with the chicks. They look just like I do in a club. You, me, you, no, yes, no, okay, fine. Let's go back.
They just start thrusting into them violently.
And that's what you should do with this movie, Raising
It works every
Raising
time.
Arizona. Make sure you're thrusting while you're watching it. Good pick, Wes Cranford. For me, anyways. Not so much for the Anthony, but
I was happy to go and watch it again.
Yeah.
Because as I said, it's not my favorite film. And I was like, you know what? And I said that when we were talking about it, I was like, this is going to be a challenge, but I'm up for the challenge.
I think Fargo, still one of my favorite Coen Brothers movie.
I'll say that I did enjoy it, but I'm happy that I at least can say I've watched another film like this, so that I have a more well-rounded perspective on filmmaking.
I mean, their use of music is great in movies like Quentin Tarantino. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? I love that soundtrack. The Bluegrass soundtrack was fucking great. But
I would my opinion of movies when I was a teenager was. I'm watching, I sat down and watched this. I remember my friends like, you gotta watch this movie. And I go, well, there's no hot chicks in it. Number 1, all right? Number 2, there's nobody cool in this movie.
Nick Cage wasn't cool at the time. Yeah.
I don't like rednecks.
Yeah.
I really couldn't stand that. I'm being from the city, a city dude.
Yeah.
I don't like country music. I don't like any kind of like yodeling going on. I don't like any of this. I don't like people with fucked up teeth. So, yeah, of course. It's a very
Don't watch Tiger King then. You're not going to enjoy.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch
It's
that.
all you just described fucking Tiger King, which they're releasing a new episode soon. Yeah.
It's hard to rally behind a film when you're used to watching films as a way to like you have an escape in a fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to fantasize about being in Raising Arizona. Like I want to be Rocky Balboa.
You don't want to be H.I. McDonough?
I want to be fucking the Karate Kid and end up with the girl at the end and learn a lesson about life.
Oh yeah, those are great movies.
Yeah. I want to fucking be fucking Tom Cruise in any movie. Like just being the best there is at what he does.
What do you at the end of this movie? You're just like, I don't know. You're rooting for maybe Ed and High a little bit. I don't know.
You're kind of just like, oh, I guess they did the right thing.
They did ended up. They're shitty. Everyone's shitty people, but they did the right thing. Which is
well, there is something to chew on about that. About like, yes, bad people are not always just all bad.
They can change.
Or I mean, even to just people. People do bad things, but still do the good things at the same time. They can do. It's not just one or the other. It's a weird.
It's a whole gray area, and that's kind of what they were, playing with here. So. Good pick, Wes Cranford. Thanks a lot for your patronage. Let's do some news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation. Now I feel better. This is the segment where I pull quotes and comments from our Facebook group and our emails. Jock and Nerd Nation, join it today. Jimmy Shea just posted, just watch Superman Red Sun, the new DC animated movie. It strayed a little from the source material. They always do. But overall, I thought it was great. I love the Bruce Timm style animation. It had a great voice cast. And as an added bonus, there is a super cool Phantom Stranger animated short on the Blu-ray. Check it out. I mean, what else are you doing?
Talking nerd.
I want to check this out. I love reading Red Sun. It's a very good book.
I've never actually read it. I know the general idea of the story, but
it's got a Batman with a babushka who's wearing a babushka. It's like
Babushka man.
Babushka
I'm always a big fan of the word babushka.
Babushka. It's Russian Batman. Yeah, and the idea is, what if Kal-El landed in Moscow and not in Heartland, America? Alternate universe.
Oh, it's sort of like Brightburn.
A little bit like Brightburn. Except Brightburn's not a communist. And he's just a shitty kid.
And apparently this was good in Brightburn.
Yes.
As you may know, it's not.
Not so much. But, yeah, I'm dying to check it out. So thanks for the review, Jimmy Shea. And then Justin Swerner post, has the Jock and Nerd started a D&D game yet? Me, and I'm sure a lot of other listeners would love to hear you guys do it. I bet you guys creating your characters would be a funny episode.
Was that Dungeons and Dragons?
Dungeons and Dragons, D&D.
I don't even understand what that is.
Okay, so this is the problem, and this has come up before, right, Ruggs? We've discussed this.
Yeah.
I would totally be down to do this, but we need someone who's can be a dungeon master and can be entertaining and can to explain to Anthony and myself, because I've never actually played a role-playing game. Anthony, if you watch Critical Role on YouTube, it's like 4-hour streams.
I don't think you can say.
Oh my God.
What?
It's 4-hour streams of people playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they get like millions of views. People watch this live.
Is the dungeon master anything like the key master from Ghostbusters?
Yes. Are you the gatekeeper?
Well, the dungeon. Okay.
That is hot.
This is how Dungeons and Dragons works.
Yeah.
Basically, one dude comes up with the entire movie.
He's like God, right? And your narrator.
He comes up with exactly what's going to happen. He knows and he kind of has a plan, and he's got rules that he's got to stick by. He's got he's got a book of all the stats of everything that can happen, anything that he can throw at you, he has. So there is like a frame of reference, and you're basically going through this adventure as your character and your character's powers, and basically you have to roll basically to see if whatever you want to do in the game actually happens.
When things happen, and how much of things happen.
So basically you're an interactive thing, interactive story, interactive movie, and you partner with your friends.
Like playing a video game without the actual video game. Just with people.
It's basically in lieu of having a system or a game,
it's all in your head.
You're just using the power of people and their creativity.
But I feel like, Ruggs, correct me if I'm wrong, a good dungeon master is important for...
It's everything.
Right. That's what I thought.
Because half the people don't know what they're fucking doing when they're playing the game.
Exactly.
And a good dungeon master will alleviate that or make it worse. Or, I mean, if a bad dungeon master will make it worse, and a good will help mitigate that. So, so that really matters. And for it to be interesting and to move along and all that stuff. Plus, you need players that are good.
Yeah.
Because they help you figure out how to play. So if it's a bunch of people that don't know, this is what's happened every time that I wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. We all just give up and we don't do it.
That's it. No.
So the people that persevere.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The people that persevere and actually get a game together and they keep doing it, they end up, a lot of people end up doing their own thing. They don't stick to their rule book because, like, who's fucking watching? Nobody. There's no one sitting there going. So they all kind of make up their own rules. And they end up having this kind of like ongoing adventure that goes on for years and years and years. And they kind of go and they play this character and through various stages of whatever. So whatever. That's the game. I always thought it would be cool to have a game night, one night, like every month, and go, I'm going to do my game. And I want to go fucking see what happens to my character that, in this installment. But like, and the guy has like a month to think about it.
Yeah.
Like what kind of crazy shit he can put us through. So, but it's never happened. So my dream has died.
So
like,
look,
I even went to I went to the extent of ordering a Dungeons and Dragons compendium, all the Beast book. I have everything.
There's tons of books and
I just
things.
Never even I never got around to doing it.
So let's look. I'll put this call out there, listener or nation. If there's someone out there who is a solid DM and has their shit together, yes, DM. Oh, it's not a BM, not a Bowman.
Okay.
I had a loose BM earlier. A solid dungeon master that can bring us kind of a lighthearted, easy intro game. I will make sure it looks and sounds great. I'll help produce it. I would love to play an improv game, but I need a dude that knows what they're doing that can kind of run everything.
This is really, you know where this has a really big foothold?
Yeah.
Is in LA.
Oh.
Because this is like what actors dream of.
That's true.
Oh, I get to practice acting.
Yeah,
I get to practice being a character.
Yeah.
And so all of these actors and actresses now are doing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's huge. Like, that's why this Critical Role is caught on. There's literally like anybody that's in a nerd adjacent community has a D&D game going on.
Yeah, and there's tons of Dungeons and Dragons podcasts with continuing games, which is kind of what Justin was alluding to. I think it would be hilarious if the three of us did it, us not knowing what the fuck we're doing. It would still be very entertaining. I would have a lot of fun. I just need someone to come in with a whole set of rules and help us build characters or whatever. It sounds like a long process. And this show is already a little bit of work. So
I feel like that you need to have the reason why what works the best is that you go into a game as the novice with a bunch of people that know what they're doing. So you're not really, for them to carry you along, it's not a big deal. But if it's a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, it could be a slog.
And also, no, listener, if we do this, I'm going to have to force Anthony to do this. He's probably not going to enjoy it, but that may be funny.
What am I? I'm role playing.
Yeah,
That's all I got on
you would
this.
pretend to be a character, and then someone would toss you a situation, and then you just be like, okay, I want to do this. Can I do this? And then fucking roll. But you get to come up with so you could play you as the character. I don't know. Someone fucking get something together and send us a proposal.
It's a great idea, but ideas are great, but actually executing them is a different thing.
A little tough.
I have thousands of ideas.
Yes.
None of them can be done.
None of them can be done in this material
But they're all
world.
great.
Yes.
But
I got millions
that was one of them.
All my ideas are great, and they're never going to get done. All right, look, let's wrap this up with a little what are we watching this week. I just want to note to the listener and you guys, Oscar Best Picture Parasite is now available on Hulu.
Oh, shit.
I made my mom watch that.
Oh, what did she think?
She thought it was great. She did not expect it to get scary in the middle.
Yeah.
And she's like, is this like, she was at like, what's going to happen? Is this,
Got a little tense.
like, is it like, I would have rather known that this was going to be this type of a movie.
No,
but she thought it was great.
And it's like you just said, it's a movie where you don't want to know anything about it going in. And I think that is the best way.
You could have a bongathon because a lot of Bongs movies are on.
You go watch Snowpiercer and Host.
The Host is on there.
It is on Hulu?
I think everybody should watch.
I might have to check that
Is
out.
Okja his movie
Okja is on Netflix. That's
Netflix,
a charming movie.
The both of you should watch The Host.
All right, well, I'm going to check out The Host.
I want to watch it again.
I'm going to check out
I've already seen it like 10 times, but I'll watch it again. But
what have you been watching, Rux?
Westworld?
Yeah, that's it's going along at a pretty good pace.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm in. I'm still in. I'm in it. It's interesting. I don't know exactly what the fuck I'm watching.
That show is like, I don't know what's going on, but it's cool, I think.
So, okay, this was the big reveal. Did you watch it? I'm going to spoil the shit out of it.
Spoiler alert.
I watched it.
All right. So, basically, they lead you to believe that she had left Westworld and taken a bunch of people,
she stole
hard drives
the
with her.
spheres, the different characters.
The spheres
yes.
which are the different people's personalities that are these different, and you're thinking the whole time since the series started that she has put these people or recreated these people. And
like you think Teddy's in there or the other guy that's not
it's
around.
All her.
It's all Dolores.
Oh,
she made an army of her.
Yes, she's in the samurai's body, right? And she's in who else is she in?
She's in what's her name's body?
Is she in Maeve?
I don't know if she's in Maeve. I don't think it's Maeve.
No, she's in Charlotte Hale.
She's in
and she's in herself also.
So I think, and she's in everyone's fucking body.
It's all Dolores's,
and it's all her.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that's interesting because that kind of like, well, she has that's the perfect army, right?
Yep.
Like they're all going to do what you want to do because you all have the same thinking, right?
Yep.
Well, then that'd be interesting too if she fucking betrays herself.
Yeah, how's she gonna? Is it the one mind, or do they all independently think?
I don't know.
Or they all have to listen to the main Dolores. That's very interesting.
But this is not something I'm watching, but I just want to talk about this really just briefly.
Okay.
Because I did not read this X-Men shit. Did you read any of the new X-Men shit?
No. What, comic books?
Yeah.
No.
All right. So I guess there's a new X-Men stuff there's new X-Men stuff that came out, I think, in the past year.
Yeah.
And I just watched a video explaining what was going on.
Powers of X and House of X?
Yes, and it blows my fucking
So I
mind.
may have read the first issue of the Powers of X, but I don't remember it. I don't remember it.
I'm going to spoil it.
Okay, here we go.
Spoiler alert. All right, so basically, what I know is that it's basically the X-Men at different timelines.
Yeah.
All right, so that's like X-Men now, X-Men into the future, and then X-Men really far in the future and what happens to mutants and far in the future, right?
Yeah.
So there's 4 different timelines. And then they have like the X-Men are all on this island called Krakoa, Krakoa is actually a mutant.
Yeah, it's
is an island.
Dinosaur or something, right?
Yeah. But he's basically an island.
Oh, the island is a living thing.
He's like a living island that they all live on.
Okay.
And the X-Men all live on that place. Now, this is the part that's fucking crazy. Is that Moira McTaggart is a mutant.
Okay.
Right? That she finds out that she's a mutant that basically does Groundhog Day. Like, remember that movie with Tom Cruise where he dies and he starts over again?
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. We reviewed it on the fucking show.
But instead of starting in the middle of her life, she has to start her life from scratch.
Oh, shit, every time.
So she's in the womb, has her memories of her old life.
Oh, wow.
And can't do anything until she can't talk until
she grows up.
She has the physical ability to talk. She can't walk because she doesn't have the physical ability, but she has all of her thoughts.
Oh, geez.
And every single time she reincarnates, she tries to change the timeline. But and basically they take you through all of the different things that she's tried. And she eventually meets somebody who is like a telepath of some kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Or some kind of future precognizant or whatever. And basically says, look, your powers are not going to last more than maybe a couple more times. So whatever you're trying to
you gotta get it done.
You got to get it done. But it takes you through all the different things that she's done. She's been like a bad guy. She's been a good guy. She's been like a fucking scientist. She's been a fucking regular person that gets married and has kids.
But these are whole lifetimes that she has to live and then go back
just
and do
starts
it again.
over and restarts every time. And then it just crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
But the craziest thing is all of these ideas are ripped off of Dune.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, anyhow, it's just crazy.
He just turned X-Men into Dune for a new reboot.
I guess somebody read Dune and decided to incorporate a lot of it into X-Men.
This is great. I could get 200 issues out of this.
So I just wanted to mention it. It's just the most wacky shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I wonder, now I'm curious to see how it plays out, but I'm not going to read these comics. I'm just going to
just
wait for somebody to make a YouTube video about it.
Just watch the comics historian.
I'm like now I'm like a modern comic book fan that doesn't read the comics and just watches the YouTube videos and thinks I know everything.
That's what you should do.
I don't need to read them anymore.
Way to help the industry there, Ruggs. That's spot on.
But that's what, look, they created this, right? Yeah. That's what the kind of fans that they want. So I'm just being what they want.
Don't even get me started on the New Warriors reboot. We're not even talking about that.
No, we're not.
Just listener, just Google New Warriors reboot and your jaw will drop.
A safe space?
Yeah. And Snowflake? Yeah.
Snowflake.
Anthony, you have anything that you were watching aside from those movies that's a particular interest?
Well, I'm not going to watch them again.
No, I'm saying, yes. Anything else?
I've got some things in the till that I might watch.
Yeah.
I might get around to watching Pulp Fiction by the next time.
Oh, you've never seen that? Oh, shit, that's my favorite movie.
I got that. I got.
If he doesn't like it,
this might be it. If you don't like Pulp Fiction, that may be it.
I got. I have to do Stand By Me. So
yes,
that's in there.
That's another sponsored one.
Yep, and then I got the other ones. I'm thinking about maybe Us, as I mentioned before. I'm thinking about throwing on City of God. Her. I might do that pretty soon.
Nice.
So
that's a good one.
those are some of the ones in mind right now.
I can't wait to see what you think of Stand By Me after watching Goonies. That's going to be really interesting.
Some of the ones I think Dazed and Confused. Some of the ones Rug Boy.
Dazed and Confused, Richard Linklater.
Yeah, I gave him a bunch of like different like coming of age
stories.
movies.
Sure, because he got into like the 2000s coming of age.
I'll say just real quick, Spectacular Now and Wallflower are both.
They're really
good
that good.
I liked both a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
But they're both like movies about fucked up kids going through high school.
Okay. It's a coming of age. A couple other things I will recommend. The Harley Quinn cartoon show has started again.
Oh my God.
On the DC Universe app. Another 13 episodes coming out weekly every Friday. It's fucking hilarious and foul. Season 3 of Future Man was released on Hulu, and I didn't know, and I'm making my way through that. It's one of my favorite adult sci-fi comedy.
I was toying with watching.
It's fucking great. It's wacky, it's silly, and it's got time travel and sci-fi. And then I did watch Onward on Disney Plus, Pixar's latest movie. Delightful. Another that's kind of a coming of age movie. Delightful adventure. Really clever setup in the world and the world building.
You watched Onward?
I watched Onward. It's really good.
Wow.
Dude, look, listen to the setup. The setup is so clever. Like, it's in a magical fantasy world where there's trolls and elves and unicorns, and it starts out saying magic exists in this world, but as the time went on, it turned out magic was really hard for people to use to, like, light their inside house. So someone invented a light bulb. Then someone invented other shit. And then it cuts to the modern time in this world, and it looks like our society. There's cars, there's buildings, there's cell phones, but everyone is like a minotaur or a troll or an elf, and some people still believe in magic, and the adventure happens.
And it's Pixar, I see.
And it's Pixar. The fucking animation, the way they make things look so real, and you know they're not real, is fantastic. It's a great movie to watch when you're lit, because you're like, wow, look at the fucking detail on that shit. But I enjoyed it. Great voice cast. You got Tom Holland and Chris Pratt in the leads, so their chemistry is great, and the rest of the cast is really good. It's a good movie. Good for the kids. Sometimes I like a good kids animated movie that's a great adventure.
I mean, it's not high on my list, but I mean, if I get bored,
I know it's there. It's on Disney Plus, and then you can check out Artemis Fowl. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Apparently based off.
I don't know. It's some young adult bullshit.
Based off young adult books. So.
Yeah.
All right, that's good, listener. How about you give us some Apple Podcast ratings? If you got an iOS app, you live in the U.S. or wherever, just fire up the Apple Podcast. Give us 5 ratings. Don't even need to leave a review. Just light the stars up. We're still got 119, trying to make it to 200.
Inching ever so slowly.
Closer, and we can apply to Rotten Tomatoes to be reviewers. Who, by the way, on Quibi, Rotten Tomatoes has a show, a daily show. It's like 6 minutes, and they like review and recommend a bunch of stuff that's out. Kind of helpful for like finding things or hearing other reviews of things. I like that format from the Rotten Tomatoes. So Quibi, it's all about the Quibi, people.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Ruggs, where can the listener find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy, where I am getting into arguments with people who don't get what I'm saying at any time. I was having a discussion with a dude, Kurt Busiek.
Oh shit, he's the artist, the penciler,
no, writer. Yeah, and he was talking about how the comic book industry is being affected and this and that about the coronavirus, and I'm like, well, there could have been a scenario where these people still could, even though there's no new stock coming in, they could sell stuff and they could mail stuff out. And then they're like, what are you, crazy? People are dying. You can't do anything. I'm like, yeah, but there's plenty. You know how many fucking robocalls I get and dumb shit that I get? People are still out doing like home repairs. There's people doing all kinds of shit, and they're supposed to not be essential, and they're still doing stuff.
However, I will say, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, the amount of fucking spam robocalls have gotten way down since this shit has started.
Oh, they're back. I've been getting them this week. They've been picking up.
I would
big
get
time.
several, like 6 to 7 a day, and that hasn't happened since this fucking lockdown has happened.
I feel like this week they're starting to pick back up.
Don't open those.
Like,
why are you opening those offices? That's not essential. We don't need this.
Yeah, that's like that type of marketing shit is not essential, but they're open. I'm still getting fucking mail, still getting all kinds of bullshit.
It's the worst.
So I mean, like, there's plenty of places that are non essential. I guarantee you, Amazon is shipping someone. This is actually something that happened. Like, people walked out of Amazon, working at Amazon, because they're like, why am I shipping people's dildos in this time?
Yeah, this is not
like,
important.
There's beauty products getting mailed out. There's all kinds of shit that is not essential that people are doing.
It's just delayed, though. It's not. You're not getting it in 2 hours.
No, but they're still doing there. They're still they're still wasting their time. They're wasting manpower doing it. So to act like what I said, that because like restaurants, for example, they're closed, but they're still delivering food. They're not making their nut that they have to cover for their bills, but they're making something. Yeah. You know, that it's going to like close that gap of the financial.
Just drop that pizza on the porch and back the fuck up.
You know, I'm like, these stores, they could do something if they wanted to, or if people,
I don't know. They got razor thin margins to begin with, and it's
tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
But I said that, and then the backlash I got was ridiculous. And then my favorite part is after I had this conversation with Kurt Busiek and all these other guys, and we talked it out, we mulled it all over. The next day, some asshole's like, but the same exact thing we just talked about. I'm like, do you realize we had the whole conversation and everything you're saying is irrelevant?
Mr. Late to the game.
Yeah. And I just embarrassed the shit out of him.
Yeah, then just block the motherfucker.
Nah, I'm blocked.
Follow.
But that's what you're missing out on, kids.
Yes, follow Rugboy at Really Rugboy on Twitter for all this entertainment in our quarantine life. Check the show notes, jockandnerd.com/323 for links to everything we talked about, how to support the show, how to subscribe, how to stay in touch, and spread the geekery, share the show, tell a friend. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the Nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Were you guys doing that on purpose?
Doing what?
Doing what?
Saying it at the same time.
No.
Lame.
This is going